again very thrilled to network, but we have a session to go. Debishi? No, there's no break at this point of time. That's much later. We have right now the essentially the starting of JPC, the keynote address. Debishi, Debishi, I know we're all so excited to meet each other and network, but we have a session before we break. I'd like to now invite Debishi to welcome JP Singh for a keynote address. Can we all settle down?
So once again, welcome everyone. So today, we are not here just to mark the 10 years of Delhi NCR. We gathered to honor people who dared to dream before any of us saw what is possible. To one such dreamer, a builder, a pioneer, sits with us today. 35 years of corporate leadership, from Lakme India today to Bosch & Lomb South Asia as managing director, a marketing wizard who built brands, a leader who built teams. So we can see the team out here, and a coach who built people and built the space that you are experiencing right now. A big round of applause for Mr. JP Singh. When most of the world could rest on weight of titles, he chose a different path, the path of serving through coaching. He became the founding president of ICF Delhi NCR Charter Chapter. A certified PCC coach with global credential and author of Successful Organizations in Action, a faculty of leadership itself, certified in Marshall Goldsmith stakeholder coaching, emotional intelligence, and many more. A coach who has quietly worked behind the scenes. Adi, Aditi, everybody will agree to that, right? Transforming leaders in big organizations and transforming our life. But beyond the resumes and the role, it is his humility. It is his ability to listen deeply to the unspoken and the gift to see the potential in others even before they see it in themselves. That has made him the mentor, the guide to so many in this room. And today, as we stand on the solid ground that he helped to create, it is my honor as the current president of ICF Delhi NCR chapter to welcome Mr. JP Singh. To the first president, the master builder, the silent force, and forever our torchbearer, Mr. JP Singh, the stage is yours. I need a bigger round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I didn't realize you were talking about me.
Please.
You want me to speak from here? Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you need a mic, we can give you a mic as well.
That will be good, actually. So, thank you so much, Debishi, and thank you, everyone. Good morning, the board, Debishi, everyone, all the members present here. Can I have the mic, the other one? Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, today it's given me a sense of deja vu. 10 years back. Yeah.
Should I go back and signal on your time now?
Yeah, absolutely. 10 years back, I didn't know what I was getting into, and today also I don't know what I'm getting into. So Devashi called and kept giving me the nudge. As much as 10 years back, we used to see Aditi Kumar and Sangeeta Singh, Rahul, Nina Lewitz, all of these people, who used to conduct meetings in various locations, I guess. The most frequent of them was Gurgaon, and one used to go there and come back. And there was an invitation long back, as much as I got a call from Kaushik and Devashi. 10 years, come and we want you to come. Sangeeta Singh told me, why don't you come and why don't you become the communication and marketing? I think the portfolio that Aditi used to hold earlier. Education. Yeah. So I said, okay. And before I realized, I was sitting in Aditi Malik's office, and in Saket, and there were all these, what adjective comes to mind. And I was being pushed into becoming a president. And I said, gosh, what is this? What's happening? So somehow, the brilliant part of this, Devashi has, so I'm not a keynote speaker. I'm not as good a speaker as Devashi. So please don't expect those fluent speeches. I'm not a motivational speaker. So I can't illuminate impact. But I'll try to share some reflections. And I guess as the story goes, you may pick up whatever you want to. So we were sitting in Aditi Malik's office. And the brilliant part was that none of us was keen on what post or position was coming our way. We were sitting there, and so Ajay came in last, right? And the only position that was vacant was of the treasurer. And you should have seen his face. So, but hats off to all these people sitting here. We said, doesn't matter. You become the president, you become the secretary, whatever you want. We'll shift and do something else. That was the spirit. We were not going. No one was going after those suffixes after the name. Those 2-3 letter suffixes that have become so common now. None of us was going through those. But each of us agreed to take on a role, what has to be done, without looking at the designation. So all of us were doing events, all of us were fixing menus for events like this, all of us were sending communications. Everything was happening with everyone. And then I realized, oh gosh, what have I gotten myself into? So I said, I'm going. I'm not going to be the president. And the next was Malvika Joshi and Ajay Pasricha, giraud me and took me to 32nd milestone in Gurgaon. You remember Malvika, Ajay? And fed me some good food. The story, everything goes back to food. Like, a family which eats together, stays together. So when you make good structures, Devashi, make sure there are good dining halls, families sit together. But what helped was that all of us were North Indians, like Uttara too, but Uttara is North Indian. So it helped that we all loved food. We all loved food. So, yeah. The promised macho jhol is still awaited from Uttara, but we won't give up. Another 10 years, Devashi, oh my God, Devashi is also there for macho jhol. Yes. So 32nd milestone happened, and I was giraud, and they fed me some good, MJ is, we call her MJ, is a vegetarian, but she gave me good butter chicken and, and paratha. And I said, okay, this is good. It's going to be a good journey. Good job. So we came back and we started again. And then we had our first meeting at Aditi Malhotra's house, her little daughter, who's this high now. She was this much. And there were snacks, again, food, and sandwiches and pakoda. Aditi Malik was there. Yeah, she was there. Marika, you were there at Aditi's place. There were snacks and sandwiches and pakodas. And the next meeting was at Ketki's place. And again, there were pakodas and snacks. And the best part was the dinner I was talking to Aditi about. She's a very good cook. And she called Ajay, and I landed up. Bhooke. Always, for food we go anywhere. So, and Aditi Malik made such exotic stuff. Gobi aloo, Dal, she remembers till today. And so the story of this chapter is always about food. From the biggest discussion we used to have about events like this was not the agenda, but menu pe kya hoga, right? And Aditi and I used to be, Aditi Malhotra, not Malik, she's very conscious of diet. So we used to be always found out next to the ice cream or the rasgulla counter, exchanging, how much did you have? So that was how it went. And slowly the chapter started taking shape. The reason I'm sharing this is because there was a bit of synchronicity in the whole thing. There was, Ajay used a term yesterday, he said accidentally. I remembered the book Accidental Prime Minister, and here's the accidental president and the accidental board. We just got together, and in typical organization building formats, you have stages. So I will try to take the next 5-10 minutes to share in the format of organizational, people who are in HR. Pardon me if I go wrong, but this is a bit of HR I've learned. The first stage is formation of the chapter. And we got together accidentally. We discovered our love for food, and we discovered our love for bonding and belongingness and staying together. And we fell in love with each other. But the key point then in the formation of the chapter was that we got together, made the board. We realized very early that the reason for existence, the raison d'etre of the chapter was the core. And that's where organizational or business strategy comes up. We were not in the business of coaching. Somehow coaching becomes the end in itself, rather than a means to an end. It's the best, probably possible route to leadership development, but it's one of the routes. So we were in the business of running the chapter, and we approached it that way, the whole board. So it is not about just knowledge or speaking about coaching all the time. It was a stage when the word subconscious started coming out of my ears. I stopped reading books, on subconscious. But the raison d'etre of the chapter we realized was, there was ICF sitting in San Diego, and obviously the Magdalene MOOC could not come to all the chapters. And so therefore you need surrogate presence for what, say, ICF could do if they were present here. And that was the touch and feel, the kind of things that Devashi is talking about and the group is talking about, of touch and feel and being together and belonging. Sitting in the US, ICF could not give us this feel that we are getting today, of 100 people sitting in the room. So this was the raison d'etre of the chapter. We realized it was not product knowledge, it was not sharing what's happening in the coaching industry, really. But it was not about, there are 3 disciplines of market leadership: product excellence, operational excellence, and customer intimacy, which is, all 3 are stakeholder, understanding the stakeholder and satisfaction of the stakeholder and giving them delight. But the one that we chose was not about knowledge so much. There was too much happening. Even today there is a lot of information about product knowledge and what's happening and what kind of knowledge, coaching techniques, and AI is doing this. And so I don't think we need a group like this to get that information. But what we need is a touch and feel, belonging, which has been nicely captured in the song and the theme that you've set up of being together, having a sense of belonging. And we were conscious of this. And right in the beginning, the mission statement that we brought was about creating an inclusive community. And we all sat in the mall in Saket over a coffee and created this mission of building an inclusive chapter, an inclusive organization which would develop stakeholders and the chapter at the same time. So each word was consciously chosen by this group. It's very unfortunate that, like Debishi mentions about pile driving. Pile driving means it stays on. Successful organizations stay on because it's not that every new brand manager who comes in creates a new brand positioning. That's the sure shot recipe for disaster. But pile driving is the way to do it. Howard Schultz in his book Pour Your Heart Into It said, you cannot create a multi-storied building on the foundation of a single-storied building. It will collapse. And also this thing about, there's no bravery, there's no show in saying, I invented it again. But in the term we all used became common for us was giving our push to the flywheel. We borrowed it from Jim Collins. Giving our push to the flywheel so that it picks up momentum. But unfortunately, when every new group that comes in and starts creating, reinventing the wheel, so to say, the momentum that's there for the old wheel is gone. So I'm not saying we created rocket science, but the point is consistency. There is three, Vedanta talks of 3 steps, the 3 C's, which is concentration, consistency, and cooperation. What we managed to do was concentrate on what we thought is the best, an inclusive community which creates a sense of belonging. And that was the guiding factor. But doing it consistently, not wavering, and that's the push to the flywheel. And cooperation, the third C. It wouldn't have been possible without cooperation. So it went on from those days. That's the story of a formation. The first step of organization creation, which is formation. And we had our own storms. I walked out and said, I will not be the president. And so also there were some other storms that happened. But we slowly stepped into, when we put the foundations in place, the concept of the mission that we want to do, we started working on norming, the norming stage, where we said, again, I'm very fond of these 3 concepts, the power of 3. Very early, the first meeting we had, what was that place called in Gurgaon? Huh? Apparel House. It's some other name then. Epicenter, yeah. So we said we gave ourselves an objective. That was the first meeting, along with the mission statement, to give ourselves a direction. And the three points again, the 3 areas of focus were being alive, being open, and being coaches. The third one, being coaches, is we are all coaches. So we don't have to give gyan to each other. Everyone knows how to do it. There's no didactic lectures. But we bring in the spirit of facilitating to grow each other together. So there was no credentialing, no credential based or hierarchical structure where people were sharing things, but an all-inclusive environment. And that's what we highlighted by saying being coaches. The most important one was being alive. And that was because when it was important for the chapter to stay alive, sustain itself financially, and to continue living. Otherwise, we would have collapsed again, and this story wouldn't have been there. So it was important to know that we have to stay alive. What do we do? So there were hard steps, tough decisions to be taken on pricing, and then I used to sit at night and make pricing structures and processes. We were not liked by many people for that, because our pricing structure, if you remember, we tried to build in a concept of loyalty and membership rather than people walking in and just attending and going. So the pricing structure with slabs was designed to make sure that we had members rather than attendees. We were not liked for that. We were, that's where, in building an organization, you have to take tough calls. I remember the day when Marshall Goldsmith came for a talk, and we got a message directly from him saying that Marshall would be very happy if I got a mail from him, from his Will Lenson, who said, Marshall will be very happy if you can allow his alumni to come in and just attend a talk, practice. We were trying to build a chapter, and there were questions asked about, there was a lot of gossip happens when you don't set the norm straight, and you have to take tough calls and set the rules. And we had to do that as well. We refused. Unfortunately, we could not allow Marshall's team to come in. But that set the tone that we mean business. We are in the business of clock building and not time telling. One talk by Marshall having 100 people was time telling. But clock building, as Debashi spoke about, is looking at a future. If you read Jim Collins, it's about clock building. If he hadn't taken those tough steps, the favorite words of Jack Welch were edge. Are you able to take tough calls? And we had to. We were unpopular for certain things, but in the larger interest, we had to. So we had to be alive. We had to be open, which meant diversity, inclusiveness. Being open means not having just credential-based recognition or hierarchy-based recognition, but having everyone coming in. Otherwise, it would have collapsed. The moment you get into a military hierarchy-based organization structure, so being alive means we have to be self-generating, self-perpetuating, having feedback loops, listening to each other. That's how a living being, an organization is a living being. So we had to be alive as an organization, we had to be self-generating, self-propagating, self-perpetuating, with diversity, with different types of people trying to give contributions to the organization, so that the whole organization grew as a healthy living being and thrived. So these are some of the steps that went in, the thought and the effort by this group, which made this child come alive, stay alive, and sustain. And there were feedbacks, tough feedbacks coming in. I remember, where's Kaushik? Yeah, Kaushik wrote to the Asia head. Those are the days when we're trying to form ourselves and said, this chapter doesn't respond. I said, okay, sorry, sir. So we wrote to Kaushik multiple times. But what it taught us was that we have to be more responsive. We have to be more responsive to people, to everyone. It's a different matter the first time I'm meeting Kaushik from after that day is today. Right? And I wrote multiple times to him, member Banjao, member Banjao. There was no response. Anyways, but we took the feedback. What the feedback we took was that we have to respond to each person, each stakeholder. So that was the stage of forming, storming and norming, and subsequently this stage of performing, where again there were three-point agenda that we had. Sharing the benefits. There's a life cycle, a sigmoid curve in marketing, in organizations, in human beings' lives, in careers. Everywhere there's a product life cycle. We were at the initial stage, and at that stage, everyone, like a startup, everyone has to do everything. So we had sharing of, at that stage we also have to share benefits of, it's a new concept. Coaching was a new concept 10 years back, 14 years back, Aditi. So we had to share knowledge about it. We had to share benefits, so going to organizations. And we had to share experience. So sharing knowledge, sharing benefits, sharing experience was the focus area that we had to build on, to start performing. And gradually the chapter started taking shape, and we had the 100th member of the charter chapter, Sandhya. Where is Sandhya? Sandhya came in and, yeah, so Sandhya was a 100th charter chapter member, and kept on growing, and so we kept performing, and in this, we are going to have a talk about the future and that stage comes in the evolution of every organization. We grew from an agricultural settlement. The first time this chapter formed was an agricultural settlement. We created a civilization. Tabishi was speaking about civilizations and cities and how cities get structured. It's part of it is the design of the city, and part of it is also the norms and the processes and rules you set in place for the city. So we moved from, with the right respect to the people, the greats who preceded us, who kept doing experimental running of the chapter, from whom we learned. And therefore, we learned that probably we need to have a civilization, we need to settle down and create norms. And the evolution of the chapter continues to the next stage. But what we were very conscious of, not getting a hierarchical mafia military organization. Because when in the evolution the chapter gets hijacked, or an organization gets hijacked into a mafia structure, into a military hierarchical structure, the values get frayed. And we were very conscious. We took a leap from an agricultural society to a little bit of machine industrial age, process driven, but straight a leap to a family based organization. And that's where we thrived, because we all were a member of the family. And while all of us did something, we never had a designation. We never aspired to go and pick up some designation or be opportunistic. To put in, and that's a word of caution. The moment opportunism comes in of hijacking my personal agenda beyond the chapter or any organization, it's a sign for doom. And when we handed over, we did give this advice to subsequent board who was coming over. So I'm not getting into the details, but caution, please do not reinvent the wheel, build on the piles that have been driven earlier, stay consistent, don't get into a hierarchical doom loop. There's an upward spiral of momentum and there's a downward doom loop. The choice is, remember, the family structure, we reinforce each other, we sit together, we break bread, as Christ said, together. We don't have poison to each other. But now at the stage we are in, the product life cycle, the sigmoid curve has probably moved from base. If you're familiar with the sigmoid curve, it's up. And the next stage of the sigmoid curve is flattening. It is flattening. Unless you read Kotler, I was born and brought up in Kotler, you give the curve another leap upward. And that's the question that should be answered. The answer is not going to lie in, can we give more product knowledge? What is the chapter going to be? There are brutal questions, the brutal facts that need to be faced. And it would do good for the chapter members to sit together and confront those brutal facts. That what got the chapter till here, using martial words, is not going to take it there. So will the chapter exist 5 years later? 10 years is a very long time. I'm not saying you don't think 10 years, but it's good to set the general line of direction and set out specific, what C.K. Prahlad says about SMAC principles, specific, methodical and consistent. Identify those SMAC principles. Because the PLC, the sigmoid curve is reaching the top, and if the right wave is not picked, the curve is going to flatten and it's going to go down. So questions, tough, brutal questions have to be faced. What will the chapter be after 10 years? If AI comes in and, a lot of talk is happening internationally on AI kya hoga, how will AI impact coaching? So much available on the net. I don't think the group needs the chapter to understand those things. The group needs a chapter to sit down and, like fine dining, it's not fast food. The business you are in is fine dining. And leisure dining, sitting together. You know, the brilliant thing that someone posted in my IM group recently was, have you ever sat down as a family after dinner and just let things hang? No agenda? Have you ever felt that? Half an hour, the family just sits around. No agenda, no one has any point to make, but that's such a blissful space to be in. So in the next 4 years, 5 years, the direction is about fine dining, leisure dining, not exotic stuff. You don't need to serve lobsters and crabs, but fine dining, no fast food. That's what you can build a chapter on. At that next curve, the next way. The questions to be asked, For example, I'm leaving food for thought. One question that used to come up earlier was, this is going to be the biggest chapter in terms of geographical coverage and in terms of population spread. What about, I'm not suggesting anything, please, but it's a brutal fact you have to face. What about dividing this chapter into 3? Noida, Delhi and Gurgaon, or sub-chapters, whatever. You suddenly find the whole thing booming. So, some of these questions need to be answered as you move. There are learnings that we've shared, belongingness, team spirit. This is a story of evolution of human beings on this planet. It is not a story of combat. Unfortunately, the whole globe is going towards that. It's a story of cohabitation, symbiotic coexistence, of staying together, of collaborating with each other. Someone on the video mentioned co-create and co-evolve. That's the story of human evolution, not of combat. And unfortunately, every time you've gone into combat, you've taken 10 steps back. So going forward, use your senses, use a sense of direction. Where are we going? There are 5 Ds. Sense of direction, sense of discovery. Look within, introspect, we are all coaches. No one is going to say anything to you. A sense of destiny. You're talking of 10 years, at least start looking at the general line of direction. Where are we going? And a sense of discipline, of doing things methodically and systematically. And last but not the least is the 5th D, which is a sense of delight. If you're not having fun in being in this, there's no fun running this. So I'll leave you with this thought. The only way it will happen is, at this stage of the PLC, of the sigmoid curve, startup is easy. People say startup is tough. Turning around organizations is easier because, it's freestyle spinning. You do whatever. Devashi, you are, and the board, you are left with a task now, which is a running organization. That's the most difficult one. Because everything is going so smoothly. What to touch? You need to be very careful and cautious. And the only way that can be done, people who do into organization building and development, is the only way that the PLC takes, the sigmoid curve takes a leap up, when it's a well-run organization, is energize the team with a shared purpose. Nothing else is going to work. Thank you so much. This rap before I finished was to say, okay, kafi ho gaya, chalo. Thank you so much. So we will meet you again after 5 minutes with a different.
They will call you back very soon. Yes. So this is a year-long celebration, and today, I'm taking a video of whatever he said because I'm somebody. That's absolutely fine, but I'm somebody who would reread books, rewatch videos. So this is for personal consumption. We will have that conversation. But let's move on, and we have the entire founding team out there. So can we play a video? Is this? It's before we play the video, I'll just going to say something because we are going to take you down the memory lane. And while we are doing this, we're talking about the origin stories, but a very humble note. So there are many voices, many faces to the story who has contributed to what you see on screen. But if any facts or moments is missing, we would acknowledge them with deep respect. And it's the full canvas is always larger than the please listen with open hearts and ears and celebrate the people who made this possible. You have made this videos, story is yours.
Congratulations, ICF NCR chapter. This is a monumental milestone. And over the years, I've seen each board come and and it's also an opportunity to thank the people who had initially laid the foundation. Pragati Gandhi, who ran Lighthouse Coaching, was the one who introduced the idea of an ICF chapter to us. So along with Captain Ranjit Nehel, CJ Singh, Sanjay Mitra, we were a small group who got together. Now, given Pragati didn't stay in Delhi and that I had experience from Young Presidents Organization, I stepped up to set the initial foundation of the chapter. Four of us stumbled and bumbled along. And in the process, we were having a field of dreams kind of an experience, meaning if you build it, they will come. And there were a lot of learnings because as we mentored, learned, and coached each other, we found that more and more people stepped up with a sense of volunteerism. And that became its own reward and we continued. And there was a lot of learning. It's exactly what I took when I started to build Illumina Learning's community of next generation coaches, because the whole idea of collaboration just made the learning that much faster. And each one of us will take away from this experience and bring it to our respective practices. So all I can say to you is that each one of you contributes when you show up for an event. And those of you thinking about volunteering, absolutely. The more you give, the more you get back. So with that, I want to congratulate everyone again and wish that there are many, many such celebrations over the years.
Good morning. I take this opportunity to wish ICF NCR chapter a very happy birthday. ICF NCR chapter has made many significant contributions to spreading awareness and ethical knowledge about coaching. Right from the start, the chapter has worked with business organizations and coaches to promote the ethical case for coaching. I am sure The chapter will continue to be the torchbearer of ICF for various initiatives. Many chapter members have also made valuable contributions to ICF global initiatives as part of governing bodies for various projects. Personally for me, being a member since beginning has been an enriching experience. On one hand, different learning initiatives have helped me to continuously upgrade and update my coaching knowledge. And on the other hand, I have made some great personal friends with various chapter members. Wishing more power in the coming year to all the members of ICF NCR chapter.
Coaches from the same I am so happy to have this opportunity of sharing my message with all of you on the 10-year celebration of the chapter. It's been such an honor to be part of this community and be a board member. Was a long board member, and that was not just a professional, but it was a very personal journey and such a beautiful opportunity to serve the other coaches in our community. And what began as like a vision of this bunch of us, like handful of us, passionate coaches who wanted to make a difference, it's turned into this beautiful chapter today. I can't even tell you how grateful and how joyful and how humbled I feel as I see where this chapter has reached today. Having said that, I know by the way that there have been so many ups and downs this chapter has gone through. But the dogged determination with which every member of this community has stayed on track and continued to build this chapter has been amazing, nothing short of incredible. So kudos to all of you and to all the board members that followed, the leaders, the members, the volunteers, the partners, everyone who was involved. A big thank you. It feels like our baby has grown up and is graduating. And it's such a joyful, wonderful feeling. I do want to say that now with the next decade starting, there's just so much more that stands ahead of us. Technologies have changed, expectations of our clients have changed, our own expectations of our own selves have changed, the modalities have changed. So much of change has happened, and I know this chapter is going to be on the forefront of all that's coming and all that needs to be done to make sure that we continue to serve coaching as a profession and take it forward and make a difference to all the lives that we touch. Now, we keep saying all the time that now AI is coming and replacing coaches and psychologists and therapists and counselors, but that is not so. And I think it is up to us as coaches and our community to show how we can deepen the impact and how we can utilize AI as a tool that can help us serve our clients even better, stronger, more deeply. And I'm so excited to watch what's going to come. And once again, while I'm not there in person, unfortunately, since I'm in the US, please know that I'll be cheering for you and I'll be clapping and I will be pumping with joy all through. And I'm looking forward to seeing videos and pictures of all the celebrations. So all the best to the chapter and all the best to the current board members and all the board members that will come in the future. Best of luck.
What's next? Picture abhi baki hai. Yeah. We have couple of mics here. Kaushik.
So I think a wonderful repertoire. And what a bundle of energy you guys are. Right from JP, till the time I met you, they always used to say, be like JP. I thought, be JP. What's the fun? Until I met you, I see you in person.
The diya is there.
So just a quick question, follow-up question. Why are there 3 Aditis in the founding team?
India wants to know.
The nation wants to know.
You know, Aditi is the sun goddess, so the sun can only rise if the goddess is around.
Ah,
Wow.
wonderful. That's positive psychology. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So good. So good morning, guys, coaches. And we have an excellent gender diversity in this profession. We all know this. In the morning, I'm cracking a joke, man. We have excellent gender diversity. 70% women. Seriously, I'm cracking a joke. At least smile. In the morning, they gave all colorful batches. 1, 2, there was Hope, and there was Choir, and there was ICF, all around. Then they gave ribbons. And it is so very difficult to tie your own knot, unless you are very naughty. And so obviously I had to lend a hand, and somebody said, "Bhaiya baat dete hai." I don't know. That's how my morning had begun. But we are all brethren and sisters in this wonderful journey that has kept together. Food for thought. And JP, just for an update, we now just do not have gobi masala because there are other well-wishers also. Menu, you know, we represent the country right from the south. We have V. Krishnan. I am still a North Indian, but I love Kolkata. And so, you know what's in the menu, you now know. Right? So good. We now welcome to our very special 10 chairs, 10 stories segment, where we start up some memories, some joyful, some stressful. This is GPT. But all unforgettable memories.
Yes. So can we have our founding members come over here? Right, so I invite all the Aditis, Malvika, and everybody in the founding team to come up front. Yeah, all 3 Aditis.
Please.
Yes.
And the one and only JPC also comes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Please.
So, I get it. So, Kaushik,
Yeah.
so we've been nice so far.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we are just 10 years old. Are we allowed to be naughty?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is the university, the first day, freshmen,
Yeah.
fresh women. And
Right.
you know what they do?
I know.
Obviously.
Let's
need to
not
be
talk
naughty.
about it, but let's do it.
So
Okay?
we have 10 quick fire scenarios. Let's see who takes the ownership. And it's open for the crowds. We are going to give you a hint. And, you can make your guesses. Even you can also make your guesses also. Right? So, Deveshi.
Yeah. So, question to all. Who pulled a Hanuman from Lanka feet when the venue disappeared 24 hours before the event? Who arrived with a new one just in time, almost carrying the whole mountain instead of just the Sanjeevani? So before they answer, anybody can guess from the audience, who was that individual? Anyone? Yoshita? Anyone? JP Singh? Anyone else?
JP ko Hanuman bol rahe?
Aditi?
I think one of the Aditis, I can play safe. So, one of the Aditis.
I'm just thinking that's happened multiple times.
Hanuman ate the sun.
Happened multiple times.
So, who is going to give the right answer?
JP.
No. Ajay, why don't you give the right answer?
Because we don't have the answer. It has to come from you.
It has to come.
So I was just telling Aditi, it has happened multiple times that a venue is cancelled and then last minute we have to look up and figure out something. And I think Aditi Malhotra also agrees to that.
Any special memory that you have?
Stressful memories.
Sending mails to the
If it's
members.
venues, it has to be NJ.
Sending mails to the members last minute.
Okay. So we take Malvika Joshi then.
Malvika Joshi is the
Malvika
person.
Joshi.
Got it.
The legend has been written. Malvika Joshi is the Hanuman. The legend has been written. Okay, good. Moving on to the next one. Who channeled Shashi Tharoor meets Munna Bai, showering with WhatsApp voice notes, morning gyan, midnight pinks, and still ending with Jadoo ki Chakti.
Any guesses from the audience? No, it's from this team.
It's from this team.
It is just, yes, from this team, from this
From
team.
this team, it has to be from this team.
And his
Yes, Yoshita, can somebody give her a mic?
Showering with WhatsApp voice notes in the midnight, morning gyan, still ending with
Aditi Malhotra.
What?
Yeah. Yoshita is saying,
Aditi Malhotra.
ये तो JP है.
Martin.
I don't know about Shashi Tharoor, but lots of scolding
don't need-
to everybody to
but
stay
you
on
need your
track.
voice.
Uh-huh.
That was definitely me.
Okay, and what was your most important or most, often used Shashi Tharoor type quotes?
I've just been christened Brennan Martin. I've just been christened Brennan Martin. Shashi Tharoor
take it.
quote, I don't know, but I think my most vivid memory would be to keep everybody on track, give them a piece of my mind very often.
Peace.
Also just and stand at the back and keep doing this. Like wrap it up, stop talking enough.
And this piece is P-E-A-C-E? Okay, that's noticed.
Whichever way you want to take it.
Oh.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Yoshita here. That it's always this group of people would always be at the back in every event. I think that was a very standout quality. They never came into limelight. It was always leading from behind the scenes, and I think that's amazing about it.
a big round of applause for that.
Right. So wonderful. So that's a behind the scene.
So next one is about Excel sheets. Money, money, money. So who mastered the Excel sheets like Chanakya mastered Arthashastra? Ajay. Ajay and Avtar. So that was pretty straightforward. Do you want to share a memory around from that?
Ajay, the excellent.
Excellent.
So I remember anytime that we had the planning to be done, we had the memberships to be collected, we had the event money to be given, the checks to be signed, the bank statements to be generated, and at the end JP used to say, okay, what is it that we have in hand and what have we spent? Right?
Yeah, that was a Marwadi look.
But yes, I remember doing that multiple roles, sitting in the office at Sienna, in the cafeteria, along with Malvika, preparing the list, and then sending it out. So I think I can never forget those days.
Ajay and the machine.
And and our swipe machine that we used to have the cards swiped and then generating the slips and then keeping a copy of that, all those things.
And also I think most of the time when in the Coach Connect, when people are there and paying, most of us wouldn't know how it will work. Ajay was the only expert who call him, you know. So everybody is frantically trying how to operate and we are pressing every buttons. And then Ajay comes and he tells us like how to do it.
Wow.
Wonderful.
I just want to add something. I think I'm loud enough though. True Blue Punjabi, very loud. But we started with 0 members and we started with 5,000 rupees in hand. We had to build the chapter up and we had to build the website, we had to run events, we had to, of course pricing came later, but I think we all struggled with 5,000 mein kaise karenge. But it is so humbling, it's so amazing to see where we're at today 10 years later, from that 5,000 to I hope you have 5 lakhs in your kitty. Yeah.
I can't share the numbers, but we're good.
Kaushik says they earned 6 lakhs in February.
No, but yeah, those were the days. They were fun, they were crazy. We had our ups and downs, but I think there was never an I. Yoshita, just adding to what she said, there was never an I. There was never this feeling of I want center stage. It was always the community first, and I think that's what helped us.
Beautiful, and a big round of applause for that. From Excel sheets.
Yeah. So,
What's
and
next?
from financial debits to emotional credits.
Yeah.
So, who played Vishwa Pitamaha guarding the treasury? I think it was actually the question for you. So, I will, Avtar, right?
Yeah.
Refusing 27 proposals with smile and yet ensuring we sparkle like a Karan Johar production. So Avtar, anybody would like to speak about Avtar?
He's in Chandigarh today. Couldn't come.
He was 5'10", and the mildest and the softest Fauji. That's what describes him. Very soft spoken, never raised his voice, and when he had a good strong build. But that's how I would describe him. Very quiet, soft spoken. Anyone wants to add something?
Yes, very quiet.
Wonderful.
So I remember it was 2017, and I had decided to move on from Sienna, and that is when I got an opportunity in Mumbai. And being the board member, since I would not be physically here, I had decided to move on from the membership, being a board member. And I think that is when it was a difficult situation that who does take over the baton of being the treasurer. And I think by the time Avtar had become a core member of the team, and I think he was chosen. And I remember even after my quitting Sienna, I had gone to Sienna. Avtar was there, Malvika was there. We sat together, handed over the Excel sheet, the data, the machine, everything to him. Counted the cash that we had at that point of time, because a lot of members used to come at the Coach Connect and give cash. So whatever was there, it was handed over to him. And I do remember him taking it up, and he says, Ajay, no doubt, you will not be here physically, but in case of any questions or anything, we're going to give you a call. And I remember being in Bombay with my new job. In the evenings, we used to connect, get the clarifications done, revisit those Excel sheets, revisit those bank statements, because at that point of time, banking was very difficult, right? Getting the name changed to getting the connections done, the email ID changed, the numbers changed, everything was very difficult. But I think we really worked together, and we were still connected, and we are still connected today.
Wonderful.
But those are the memories that are there and will always remain there.
It's a great coaching lesson. Never delete your Excel sheets.
So I would invite everybody to grab your tea and coffee and join the conversation, because it took us so many years to get these stories together. So ask any question that you have from
I
them.
just need to add
Yes, please.
one point. I think all the board members, ex-board members will agree. One name which we need to remember is Sandeep Agarwal. He was a very active member, and God took him away very early from us. He was Nidhi's husband, Nidhi Agarwal.
Okay.
And very unfortunate decline in death, very fast and very sudden. But I must say that, the tough calls that I was talking about, and some of the processes and structures that we set in place, he was the one who kept pushing us. And he said, why, we didn't have a process on, say, meeting regularities and rhythms and how do you review. And he's the one who said, why don't you just fix a date and time? And we never wavered on that. If a review rhythm was fixed for Saturday, 2 p.m., he said, why don't you do it second and fourth Saturday? And we just stuck to it. And I tell you, that discipline is at the core of a lot of things we have. So hats off to Sandeep wherever you are.
Thank you so much.
I have a memory with Sandeep that I want to share. So we had a newsletter called Going Beyond. I don't know how many of you remember that. But he had not been keeping well. I don't think any of us knew the extent of how unwell he was. And he had promised me an article. And I remember talking to him 2 days before he passed, saying, Sandeep, you promised and you never go back on your word. Where's your article? And he said, bhej raha hu, bas bhej raha hu. And he sent me the article, and I think 2 days later I hear that he's not around. But that was his level
That
of...
was the day the Going Beyond issue came out.
Yeah. That was his level of commitment and dedication.
Truly going beyond.
Yeah.
Going beyond.
Totally.